Good morning and welcome to Atlanta Divorce Law Group's Live. My name is Carl Childers and this is Managing Attorney Jeanette Soltys.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. So over the past couple of weeks, I've noticed a trend. A lot of people asking questions about do-it-yourself law. Can they self-file? Some of them have tried and ran out of time and money and then hired us. Some of them didn't know where to start, and a lot of them asked questions, is it even possible? So I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss this. So in general, when is it a good idea? Is it a good idea? Or what are your thoughts?
The only time where it might be an okay idea, I'll never say that. Maybe an okay idea is if you have no property, no debt, not much income, and no kids.
Okay.
In that situation, if you have nothing, where there's not going to be these huge adverse effects if you don't get some correct language into the documents, then maybe it would be okay. And there are forms. You can get forms from, there's the Fulton County, they have it online, the Family Law Information Center has forms online. You can get the forms, pay a filing fee. Cobb County has a pro se family law workshop that is specifically for people who want to represent themselves. If there's no possible way for you to hire a lawyer and you have no choice, or you have no property, no debt, no kids, nothing, then that might be an okay option.
Ironically, two of the people that I spoke with over the past couple of weeks were self-filing for child custody modifications. So, speak to that.
Yeah, in that situation, so it sounds like they're not in agreement with their ex.
Right.
Okay. If you ever have to go in front of a judge, you've got to have a lawyer.
Right.
Use a credit card. Borrow from friends. Borrow from family. You have to have a lawyer. You have to be able to go in front of a judge and understand the rules of evidence and understand the order of trying a case and how to question witnesses. And there are very specific rules. For example, there's temporary hearings, and there's different rules for a temporary than a final hearing. And there are certain forms that you have to share with the other side ahead of time, and it's just way too much for someone to be able to navigate on their own. Assuming you have a full-time job, it would be taking on another full-time job to learn how to do this.
Yeah, one of the people I spoke with actually came to us and hired us. He had been trying to self-file for nearly 2 years. And he sat at the table literally like this, because he has a full-time job and he was trying to do this on his own.
Yes, and then even, if you're going to go in front of a judge because it's contested, you have to understand how to litigate a case. Even in an uncontested case, I see a lot of people think, well, my ex and I are in agreement. All we have to do is get a form online and fill it out and get this finalized, and this is no big deal. That's a huge mistake. There are two things I see happening. The first one, really isn't that big of a deal. It's just a huge waste of time. All the time, I'll be in court and I'll see someone who's representing themselves trying to get their easy, uncontested divorce finalized, and the judge flips the papers and says, you haven't submitted the required paperwork. The judge isn't allowed to give legal advice, so they'll turn the person away. I can't sign a divorce order today. You need to go hire a lawyer. And then you've just wasted all of this time.
And time is money.
Exactly. So at least in that situation, they're turned away, and then they can go hire a lawyer and get it done right. What's even worse, though, is if a judge is flipping through the paperwork, they're not going to read through your whole settlement agreement and make sure you've put language in there to protect yourself. So sometimes it's even worse if you do a good enough job that it gets by the judge, because then the judge signs that order, and then we see people in our office later on where their agreement was too vague, or they've forgotten to put in certain language. There's so much important language that has to be in there to protect you that a typical person who doesn't do this every day isn't going to know. So even if things seem very simple and amicable, it is worth it to spend a little bit of money to have a lawyer draft up all the documents so you don't come back later with a really big issue.
The thing I think a lot of people don't realize or understand is that knowing the law is like being a technician. And can you really learn to be a highly skilled technician online? Well, maybe, but it's going to take you years to do that.
Exactly.
So how could you be able to print off one document and expect that you're a technician, right?
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. You said that maybe if a divorce is uncontested and you don't have many assets, then it's possible to do it. So let's say we're talking...
It's possible to get it finalized.
Right, finalized, okay.
And it's possible to get it finalized if you have high assets and draft it yourself, but chances are you're going to have really screwed something up.
So one of the things that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that someone can do if they want to work the process is start the process with an attorney, such as yourself, to structure the settlement agreement, right?
Yeah, I always encourage clients or anyone who's even talking to me about divorce to do everything they can to spend as little money as possible.
Right.
And one of the biggest things is sit down with your spouse and agree to as much as you possibly can, and then have the lawyer draft up the agreement. That way you make sure all of the language is in there that you need.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any other questions, please give us a call to further the conversation or visit our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you.